I love it. How you doing? How you doing?
I am doing well. I'm here. I am doing it. It's a rainy Sunday, but still blessed to be here. So yes.
Yes, I'm loving your hairstyle. That is too cute.
Girl, yes. You know the summertime is coming up. It's gonna be hot. You know we don't got AC in Washington, so
right.
we gotta rock it. We gotta keep it cool.
Super cute.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So tell me, what's been going on? Let's say we're gonna start off with a positive note. Not that it's not gonna be positive, but what is one positive thing, good thing that you saw, felt, heard, happened to you today? Anything, something good from today?
Something good was, I think I see a lot of community. When I live in South Tacoma, so we just had a vigil for Emmanuel Ellis, and I got a chance to go to the vigil, and it was very peaceful, and it was just a lot of the community coming together, and just prayers, and just the positivity. The energy was just all good, and then just coming together for Emmanuel Ellis, number one, but then for change, and to know that we're not in this alone. Like, everyone wants this. All colors want this. The Islanders, Blacks, there's white people out there who are allies. Like, it was certainly peaceful. And on top of that, the police officers who were there were respectful and held off the streets for us. And that was really nice to see as well. So yeah, that was my positive for this weekend.
I just nice.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to keep it going, even though we may have some like internet difficulties. We are still going to keep it all the way through, because that's what we do.
That's what we do. Yes.
We do. So anything that's on your mind, this is your space to feel like you have a voice where you may not be heard, or if you want to talk about anything under the sun. Where are we going today? What's on your mind?
Okay, yes. So what has been on my mind this weekend, I was really conflicted with the way my company, the way where I work at currently, has reacted to the peaceful protests and what is happening in the country right now with wanting change with police brutality. And the way that my company reacted wasn't, I felt it wasn't appropriate to me or other people of color who I work with. I felt that they were just trying to bypass it, sweep it under the rug, the whole situation. I felt really distraught when we had our typical all staff meeting. We have it once a month, and the management team did not hold space to talk about what was going on with the peaceful protest and George Floyd. And I just felt like that was inappropriate. And when I asked a question as to why why isn't every employee required to do anti-racism training, the reaction that I got was more of like stunned that I even asked, a bit irritated, and I'll get back to it in a month or so. And I was like, wow, okay. And then on top of that, my manager told me, keep me accountable for it. Why do I, as a person of color, have to keep you accountable for anti-racism? That's not my job. That's not my job, especially when she's a white woman. White people have to dismantle racism. That's just really what it is. They created this. They need to deconstruct it. So that's just not my job. And I felt it was inappropriate. So I've been conflicted because, different managers didn't speak up. A lot of people who I thought would speak up didn't speak up. A lot of people just kept quiet. But the positive was there's a lot of white allies who I do work with. There's a lot of people of color who are standing up and who are using their voice to speak out. Unfortunately, the company silenced voices in our company, especially people of color. And that was very disappointing to see. So just the way that my company handled it was just inappropriate to me, and it hurt me. And it was something for me to reflect on this weekend, and that's just been heavy on my mind. And just stepping into this week, Monday and Tuesdays will be my day to go back into the clinic, and we're slowly transitioning to opening up, with everything with COVID. Just to I wonder what that energy is going to be like, but I'm a religious person. I'm a Christian. So I'm just like praying and covering myself in Jesus before I walk in that building, and just knowing that I'm holding my faith, and I know who I am as a Black biracial woman, and that, you know, they have their character and they're going to be who they are, but I am who I am. And as long as I stay true to that, nothing can hurt me. Nothing can touch me. So yeah, that's what's been on my mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
How have you been able to, if you have, like, talk to management? Have you had a chance, an opportunity to, since it was like shut down? Was there space to rectify that in any kind of way?
No, I did not reach out to management personally, and they have not reached out to me. And I mean, that just shows who they are. Yeah, it just seems like they just, maybe they want to just come up with a training of some sort and perhaps just put it out as, oh, this is how we're going to create change. But I have heard nothing from them, and I'm not reaching out to them. That's not my job. So,
absolutely not.
yeah. And yeah, so it just, I'm happy that it happened, because now I can see like who they truly are. I already had my suspicions. You know how you can already kind of peek how people are, but this truly showed their character. And it is what it is. They have to change within themselves. So
Yeah, it's hurtful though. It's like we remain silenced, and it's like, yep. Like, I was shocked when I heard that. He said that. What? I was
it
like,
ain't right. It ain't right. No.
I was like, that like was like, ugh. And like, I couldn't believe, I'm still in a state of shock. Because
Yes.
like, yes, even though it's almost to be expected, which is sad in itself, it's just to a whole different degree. Like, week after week, it was, hey, how are you? How are things going on? How are you guys holding up for COVID? Every week there was space left open.
Yes.
And then
even in consults.
Yes, it was just left open, and nothing, no space, no anything. And that is hurtful. And like, when Captain Save a Karen came on there and said, like, I'm like, for real? Like, I already have my suspicions. Like, that's the person, look, I kid you not. That person met me and said, receptionist. Nothing against receptionists at all, but what gave you that? Like, this place is closed. I'm letting you in. I could be anybody, and your go-to is the help. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That, like, that point,
inappropriate.
I was just already like, eh. So that was responses to be expected. But it's like, if you respond after you were shut down, even though people kept going, I felt strongly that I would have been made the example. Like, you're being defiant. You're continuing to X, Y, and Z, but these people can say whatever they want to after.
Right.
Which gets twisted. And so holding that, and with your experience, holding that, how often has that happened? Not just in the workplace, but any other time in your life where you just have to, like,
oh wow. Yeah. So I grew up in predominantly white schools, even elementary schools, because I was a military brat. So I lived in rural areas where it was predominantly white kids and white families. So I was always one of the only Black people, either the only Black person or one of the few Black people in the classroom. So I always felt like I was in a box, you know what I mean? So I'm like, keep quiet, just do your work. I'll make friends here and there. And then you know how, like, you know, all the little white kids are really fascinated with your hair's different and your skin's different. I really want to be your friend. And then I was like, okay, so I'm immersed into this culture, and I am not in touch with my culture until I go home. And that's for like 8 hours, 9 hours a day at school, just growing up in elementary school. In high school, we moved, when I was 15, we moved to Southern Illinois, and it was a more diverse area, mostly like Black and white. And my high school was like 2,100 kids, and it was 50-50, 50% white, 50% Black. I was in honors classes, and in those honors classes, it was the same thing. You would have 2 or 3 kids of color, and then all white. So then it was just the same thing of, I'm in this box, and you're the token colored kid in the class. And anytime we would talk about the topic of race, or we would read like Black literature, it would be like, oh, and what do you have to say? What is your opinion? As if I'm the chairperson for Black people, in which I am not. And I would have to stand up for myself in that moment and say, this is my experience, but this is not everyone's experience in the Black community. Because I knew if I'm the only person speaking, I'm the only person who's Black in that class, they're going to take it as, oh, her experience is everyone's experience, which is certainly not the case. So I've always felt in this box, how to watch what I say, you know, how to watch what I wear, because, you know, like we have hips and boobs and, you know, lips and all of that. So we also had school uniform in high school. So certain girls would wear like dresses and stuff, and they would be short white girls. But I couldn't wear that same dress because I would get a dress code violation, because I would just be very full in dresses and stuff. So there was just certain things like that, like the little John Henryisms that I would deal with in high school, that I was just like, man, I really feel like I cannot be me. So I've always felt like that just throughout life. And then when I went off to college, I'm at Pacific Lutheran University. I did my undergrad here, and I just wrapped up my master's, and it's still the same thing. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's business administration. All white kids in the class, very privileged kids, whose parents, they pay $10,000 a semester to go here. You know, I'm on financial aid. I got loans. Okay. So like, I'm just looking like, wow, you live this very privileged life. They don't understand what it's like for low SES folk who have to like work and climb their way up, and it's limited resources, if any, just to get to college. I mean, college is just like the rite of passage for them. So like being in those classrooms with privileged white kids who, whenever the topic of race comes up, it's like, ooh, we don't want to talk about that. That's ugly. Can we avoid that? My most memorable situation, I did my undergrad in psychology, and we had to run experiments and tests, and we had groups. And there was a white girl in my group, and the professor was working with us and said, okay, what do you want to work here? What do you want your experiment to be? And the other groups in the classroom, they were wanting to work to see like how races differ within their project, you know, or LGBTQ communities, stuff like that. And the white girl in my group said, I specifically do not want to deal with race. And I was just like, ooh, oh my God. And my professor, she's a lesbian, and she just looked shocked, and you could just tell everything in her face was just like, oh my gosh. And she instantly looked at me, and I looked at her, and I said, you know, that's okay, but I asked immediately in front of everyone in the classroom, can I be switched to the other class so I can work with a different group? Right then and there. And she said that, okay, I will get that done for you. And then I got up and left. I was like, that was just inappropriate on so many levels, and it made me feel uncomfortable. And I'm just like, I just don't get it. Like, white people feel so uncomfortable talking about race, but yet you constructed racism. So I don't get it, but I'm forced to live in this discomfort and to conform to your culture and to, you know, walk and talk like you in these business worlds and in these professional realms. And it's very unfair to be in this box. So, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry you have that experience. It's tough. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
You share your experience, you know, with some white people, they get offended, like you're saying that they're not working as hard. It's like they take it to heart or something for some reason, like because I have to do all this work because I'm not privileged in X, Y, and Z does not mean that you're less than, or that you didn't work hard too, or that does not mean that. And so to minimize and say, well, if you work harder, or if you do this, like that's going to cause a divide. It's not tit for tat. It's a true experience.
Right. Right.
I have to work harder.
Yes.
It's okay. You're not smarter. I'm not smarter, but there are different hoops that I have to go through. And I'm sure if you went through the same hoops, maybe you'd still be in the same place. It doesn't mean that your work was just, oh, handed to you and I don't have to work for it. And unless you're part of that group whose parents paid. I'm talking about those, but
Right.
what
Right.
I mean